Qwilfish. The balloon Pokemon is a somewhat small aquatic creature that resembles a puffer and porcupine fish. This absolute beauty of a Pokemon is much more than meets the eye, however, as it has the ability to inject venom directly into an opponent or prey through the many spines located over its body. This particular trait indicates that it could be based off of a lionfish of our world. Qwilfish was first noted in the waters around the Johto region, but this may not have been always the case. In the ancient Hisui region, Qwilfish were present. However, they differ to modern Qwilfish of Johto and Sinnoh. Now, this is believed to be diet related, but then that brings forth another question. What is in their diet that has changed in the last couple hundred years? Could it be a species that either went extinct, forcing Qwilfish to find a new food source, or could the prey species have evolved themselves? There are many unanswered questions regarding certain differing forms, and this aspiring Pokemon professor hopes to one day find these answers and share them with you. The Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Pokédex entry for Qwilfish state, Qwilfish sucks in water, inflating itself. This Pokemon uses the pressure of the water it swallowed to shoot toxic quills all at once from all over its body. It finds swimming somewhat challenging. Now there are two main pieces of information here, and the first one is, Qwilfish are not great swimmers, meaning that if you did happen to encounter a school of this spiny beast, there is a good chance that you could make it away. However, part 2 makes it a little bit trickier. By sucking in a large amount of seawater, which we know is roughly 2.6 gallons, or nearly 10 litres, it can fire its spines as projectiles towards you at an alarming speed. Yes, you may be able to outswim them, but can you outswim a high pressure spike underwater? Good luck. And the primitive Hisuian Pokédex states, fishes detest this troublesome Pokemon because it sprays poison from its spines, getting it everywhere. A different form of Qwilfish lives in other regions. This is also rather interesting. It seems to indicate that this older form does not shoot out its spines and merely sprays poison from them. This seems like it could have something to do with this Hisui form not being a water type, which in itself is weird seeing that it is a fish that lives in the water, but maybe because it lacks this water typing it doesn't have the ability to draw in that same large amount of water? We just don't know. The other piece of information here is that Professor Lavington knows that there are other forms throughout the world. This is most likely as he is believed to have originated from the Galar region, so this makes sense. But what is it that truly caused this mutation from the Qwilfish from ancient Hisui? And just as bizarrely, what happened that led to these Pokemon being absent from the Sinnoh Pokédex? That's weird, right? They were around for the ancient Hisui time, but they're not around in modern day Sinnoh? This has me concerned for our little ancient friends. There are so many unanswered questions, and of course, one day, when I have those answers, I will share them with you. Qwilfish is number 211 in the National Dex, and 163 in the Johto Pokédex. Both Qwilfish forms are dual typings, with the Johtonian form being a primary water and secondary poison type, while the Hisui variant is a primary dark and secondary poison type Pokemon. They will either have the ability Poison Point, which will give a 30% chance to inflict an attacking Pokemon with poison if the opponent makes physical contact. However, Poison and Steel type Pokemon will not be affected by this. Or they'll have the ability Swift Swim, which will double the speed stat of the holder if it's raining. Qwilfish can also have the hidden ability Intimidate. Intimidate lowers the opposing Pokemon's attack stat by 1 stage. Wild Pokemon are more likely to call for help from others if they're facing an opponent with the Intimidate ability. However, this will not work on all Pokemon. If the opposing Pokemon have any of the following abilities, then their attacks will not be affected. Clear Body, Hyper Cutter, White Smoke, Full Metal Body, Inner Focus, Scrappy, Oblivious, or Own Tempo will render that Pokemon immune to the effects of Intimidate. The two most powerful moves that a Qwilfish can naturally learn are Takedown, a normal type physical attack which has a base power of 90 and an accuracy of 85%, Qwilfish will learn this at level 48, and Aqua Tail, a water type physical attack which has a base damage of 90 and an accuracy of 90%, which it can learn at level 56. However, the most powerful move a Qwilfish can learn is Self-Destruct, a normal type physical attack with a base power of a whopping 200 and accuracy of 100%. This can be taught through the use of TM20. And if you're going to try and breed a Qwilfish, then you would be able to get the most powerful egg move for Qwilfish, and that is Bubble Beam, a water type special attack with a power of 65 and an accuracy of 100%. It is possible by breeding a Qwilfish with either a Chinchou, Lantern, Remoraid, or Octillery. The Hisui variant has a vastly different moveset, and as such, the two most powerful moves the Hisuian friend can learn are Double Edge, a normal type physical attack, which has a base power of 100 and an accuracy of 100%, which we'll learn from level 47 onwards, and Self-Destruct. The difference between this one and the Johtonian variant is power. For some reason, the Hisuian variant only has a base power of 150, while accuracy remains the same at 100%. This isn't the first time that we've seen a reduction in power, as the Porygon that appear through the space-time distortions seem to learn a weaker Hyper Beam than their Cantonian counterparts. Both Qwilfish forms have the same base minimum stats at 440. However, the stat spread is slightly different, but due to limited technology, the Hisuian Qwilfish's exact stats distribution are not known. Both special defense and special attack are tied for the lowest stats at only 55, with regular attack being the highest at 95. If trained perfectly and focusing on the highest possible numbers while taking IVs and EVs into account, you can raise a Qwilfish with an attack of 334 once it reaches level 100. Special attack and special defense would still be the lowest at the highest possible outcome of 229 each. Both forms of Qwilfish have a seemingly perfect split between male and female, meaning you're no more likely to catch one than the other. Qwilfish have a somewhat lower catch rate at only 11.9%, but this is only a base percentage and will be affected by many contributing factors. Qwilfish are classified as medium fast levelers, which means they can be a crucial part of your team early on in your journey if you let them battle and train. They are part of the Water 2 egg group, and on average, once you are carrying a Qwilfish Poké-Egg, you'll need to travel roughly 5,200 steps, or 3.8 kilometers. The average Qwilfish stand at just 0.5 meters, or 1 foot 8 inches, and weighs 3.9 kilo, or 8.6 pounds. These measurements would not be counting the additional size or weight after Qwilfish has brought in all of the water that they can though. The Johtonian Qwilfish is not known to evolve into any other Pokemon. However, the Hisuian variant can evolve into Overqwil through a fairly unique method. It must use the move Barb Barrage 20 times in the strong style before it will evolve. Defeating a Qwilfish in battle will provide 1 attack EV and 88 base experience points. There are currently 2 known forms of Qwilfish, the first being the form native to the Johto region, and that's the form that most people are familiar with, as this was the form not just found throughout Johto, but within other regions also, like the Galar region. The second form has only ever been seen in one place, and only for a relatively short period of time, and this is in the seas around the Hisui region, and as mentioned before, they have either migrated since, or have faced extinction, as these marvellous fish are no longer present in modern day Sinnoh. Qwilfish is one of those Pokemon that you would need to take a second look at, as the first glance could easily lead you to believe that it's just a fish and not a Pokemon at all. It so closely resembles the pufferfish from our world that no one would blame you for thinking that, and to be straight, both forms look very similar. Either one could be seen as your next dinner. Qwilfish has a spherical body and a flat paddle-like tail. The top half of its body is a dark teal-like colour, and the lower half is a very light, almost washed out yellow. Its tail is tall and thin with a dark teal outline and a light yellow inside, and 2 dark teal dots in the centre that resemble eyes. Its eyes are flush against its body and are always slanted in an angry expression. Below its eyes are its puffy pink lips. All round its body are sharp, conical spikes which evolved from scales over time. In Hisui, Qwilfish have a very different appearance from its Johtonian counterpart, which is believed to be caused by diet. The lower half is coloured light yellow, while the upper half is black with black spikes that have dark purple tips. The front spikes on their forehead are smaller. There are crescent purple lines underneath Qwilfish's eyes, and its lips are coloured purple. It now has a large flat tail with a black outline and a purple inside. And I'm very fond of the shiny variants of both of these Pokemon, and think they actually look better than the original. The Johtonian shiny has a bright pink upper body with a pale pink lower body. It still sports those puffy pink lips though, and the Hisuian shiny variant is my personal favourite. The top half is a silver colour with light purple tips on the spikes and a cream-like colour on the bottom half. Its lips are now the same colour as the tips of its purple horns. We don't have a lot of information to go off for Qwilfish and how they go about their day, but it's reasonably safe to assume that it can be somewhat aggressive towards humans at the least. This seems not to be a biological issue but a learned behaviour, With Qwilfish being so small, they are often seen as prey from larger carnivorous Pokemon, and I'm sure some humans too. Their hostility can be very easily explained as either a defense mechanism or a learned behavior due to over or excessive hunting. The most notable Qwilfish are when Crystal captures many of them during a time of great pollution. While the battle tower was being constructed, there was an accident that caused a ton of pollution to spread into the home of many of these Pokemon. They were obviously very upset and hostile at this. They began to attack, but thanks to her expert skills, Crystal was able to capture each of them. After this catch frenzy occurred, Crystal found a baby Qwilfish stuck in the toxic waste. However, as she was preparing to take this baby to the nearest Pokemon Center, a Suicune appeared and not only purified the water from all of its pollution, but healed the baby Qwilfish. We don't know, however, if Crystal kept these Qwilfish or if she's released them since. Qwilfish are not difficult to find, and you can very easily find them along any water paths throughout the Johto region. Essentially, if there is open water, you'll find Qwilfish. This goes for their other forms too. Any large open body of water in Hisui, and you're sure to run into a Qwilfish. Or 10.